All right, guys, let's see. We are live. So what happens here, Joe, is when you do a live stream or a live show or a podcast, sometimes people come into the chat, sometimes people don't. It's a little different. It's good to do it as a pre-record, but it's also nice to do it live.
Yeah. All right, let's
I
do
got to
it.
tell you, we're always depending on the internet, right? You know this. We're always
Right.
depending. So if the internet goes down, just hang out and we'll come back on. If the
All
power
right.
goes out, we'll come back on. We are
Okay.
in an application that holds the show. You don't
I'm
lose the
hanging out.
show.
I'm
Yeah.
here ready to go.
Yeah, you don't use the show. Okay, so let's get into it. We got Joey here, Joe from Belleville. What's the story, Joe? Jersey Joe. That's what we're calling it, Jersey Joe. So what's the situation? What are you running for? Let's get into some talk here. You're running for what? What and how'd you get here?
Yeah. So Jersey Joe Belnome. I'm from Belleville, grew up in Belleville. I'm running for state senate. So that's very important. Our legislature, November 7th. It's all about the Board of Education and the legislature are on the ballot this year. So what big issues going on right now is parental rights, and so we're hoping to get a lot of parents out there
Yeah.
to come out this year. It's usually a very low turnout on a year when there's no governor or no president on the ballot.
What
And
areas, specific cities are we talking about?
so we're in Legislative District 34, and that encompasses Belleville, Nutley, Bloomfield, Glen Ridge, Orange, and East Orange. Six
That's a
towns.
nice,
And all is Essex County.
yeah, and you're familiar with all that is, you're from here, so you're familiar with all these areas and the people and. All right, so let's touch on a couple of things. I got your website up next to me, obviously, and I have your website down in it's in the chat. You can't see it, but it's in the chat. All right, let's go write down a few things that you're passionate about, right? That you're running on. Immigration.
Right. So it's the number one issue is I'm trying to protect children. So I would consider my opponent a radical left extremist. She actually sponsored a bill to keep sexually graphic books in our libraries and to defund the library if they remove the books. This has been a hot topic in some states, and they're trying to accuse people like me of trying to ban books. But it's not about book bans. It's about sexual content and not exposing that to children.
Okay.
And also, we just saw recently with Black Lives Matter, they basically endorsed Hamas. Now, we're not talking about Palestinians. We're talking about the terrorist organization Hamas.
Yeah.
And in the past, she has she's co-sponsored a bill to make October 13th a Black Lives Matter day. So she totally endorses an organization that sponsors terror.
So you're totally on the opposite side of that. You want what's right for your people, and how they feel. So you got immigration. Let's go down the line. Immigration, border state, failed policy.
Every state is a border state now. So I do not support sanctuary cities. That's something that can help curtail bringing illegal immigrants to our states. So that's where I stand on that. And it's nothing against immigrants. I am a son of immigrants. I had one uncle that was here illegally, and I like to say he swam to America because he used to be a merchant marine and jumped ship and swam here. And he was eventually deported, and then he came back legally, and he was a Republican. So that's how he turned out to be. So it's not about we're all children or grandchildren of immigrants here. So
your parents came from where? Sicily.
From Sicily, yes, both from the same town in Sicily.
Both from Sicily, migrated here, and built a life with you guys here, you and your sisters.
Yeah. So that's where I stand on the immigration issue.
Yeah, that's immigration. Okay, medical freedom. What do we got with that? I like
so
that.
that's something that we've all experienced now with the pandemic.
Yep.
I'm against mask mandates. We found that they didn't work. We still see people pushing for masks. We have some colleges in the state, I think Rutgers, that's still mandating masks and even maybe vaccines as well. So I'm against vaccine mandates, especially experimental vaccines that we don't know what the long-term effects will be.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely against that. Yeah.
Okay.
And lockdowns too. That hurt children as well as far as their educations. So it hurt our economy, and it almost seemed deliberate to bring down the economy, the Trump's economy. So I'm against all those things as well.
So let me ask you a question. You're obviously in the city. You see Belleville kids. You see what's going on. You saw a big impact on it.
I'm sorry,
You
with
saw a
Belleville?
you saw the big impact on the kids, the learning and all of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, this is not just, to our area. This is like the whole country.
Yeah.
The numbers are in. Statistics are in about education. Belleville's not doing too good. I mean, Belleville, we have a nice school district there, but education wise, people are struggling.
Yeah.
So, and I know lockdowns had something to do with that.
Okay,
But we
good.
want to make sure something like that doesn't happen again.
Right. Okay, let's jump into the next one. Secure elections. So I'm just going down what you have on your website. They'll be able to see it. People will be able to see it. So I'm just going down what you have.
Right.
Secure
Yeah.
elections. Go ahead. Tap
So,
into that.
you know, uh, without election integrity, you're not going to have people having confidence in the vote. So I'm against I'm actually against the the mail-in ballots that where they gave them to everybody during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So something like that. I I hate this whole vote by mail thing. I know that they keep telling us that we have to do it. I think that how do we put this thing? I love same day election, same day votes. This has been a problem around the whole country,
Yeah.
but and I don't know. That's where I am on that. So I
Yeah,
don't.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, limiting voting by mail. Okay, government overreach. That's a big one, man. Government overreach
Well,
is
yeah, that's just a general term, So I did well. Actually, listen, I kind of went on that with the masks. That's an overreach. What
okay. I
about
got you.
something like you go to the bar and you want to use a plastic straw? It's like a government overreach to force you to use a paper straw.
Yeah,
It's
too
a
much.
government overreach to go to the supermarket and now they're banning bags, plastic bags. It's like stay out of our conveniences. Those are the type of or even that I'm not a smoker, but I wouldn't want them to ban cigarettes for people that smoke as well. And it's just the
Of course.
overreach from the government. It's just not needed.
Once you start
So, yeah.
doing that, we're getting into a whole different situation. It's not good. It's not
Yeah.
good. You give the government a little control, they take a little more control, and then before you know it, we got a problem. All right, climate. What do you got on climate? I'm just going, Joe. You okay with me going down your?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I've actually caught some slack on that because you just
Oh,
said climate, but my truck says climate hoax on it, and that's where people had a problem with what I said on there. And sometimes it's like I almost want to take it off there because it's not worth having the argument with people.
then
It's not about not believing in climate. We all want clean air and we all want clean water. But the measures that they try to take are it's more about government control.
yeah,
That they want to get rid of our gas cars. They want us to all of a sudden they want to get rid of gas stoves. Uh,
everything.
like even with pizza. Oh, it's too much of a footprint to cook pizza in these.
I know
They'll
that's
just think of
crazy.
anything, huh?
That was crazy when I heard that one. No,
Yeah, no, that's all part of that. That's part of that climate hoax. How much effect are we having on the climate is debatable. The science has never settled on these type of things. I mean,
no,
you could do a million things to try to stop, hurting the climate, and tomorrow a volcano can erupt, and none of that stuff would have mattered.
nothing.
What we're doing, how much is that affecting? I feel like America is being punished by things that Africa, India, and China are doing because they're
Yeah.
the ones that are mostly doing all the pollution. Most of everything that's in our oceans is from those nations, and it's
So
not
we
from
get
us. And as far as like they want to force us to get on all electric, we can't sustain everything electric.
can't
Once they
possible.
do that, and it's almost ironic. Like in California, they said, "Oh, by 2030, we want to get rid of all gas cars and everything will be electric." The next day, they
Yeah,
had to have rolling blackouts because they couldn't handle the
yeah,
electricity. So
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
what does that tell you? That's just foreseeing your future if you allow them to do that. And
not
I believe in nuclear energy. That's clean energy.
100%.
It's sustainable. We can have that.
Okay.
Windmills are not going to do it. And then
Nope.
what they're doing on the shore, they want to have windmills all over the ocean. First, you have the sonar that's killing all the whales and dolphins, and then once they get those windmills up, then they'll start killing all the birds. And how much power is that going to generate?
It's crazy.
That's not an answer.
All right.
So,
All right.
and plus America has the best regulations on producing things like oil and natural gas. That's a
Okay.
big topic. And I know, like I said, it's not worth explaining, but if I'm in a podcast, I'll explain
Oh, yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's there. Once it's there, it's
Yeah.
there. Now
Sure.
people can hear it, right?
Right.
You're saying you might have should have changed the words, maybe, but whatever.
Right.
It's there. Nothing to do.
When they hear that, they think, oh, you don't care about the climate. It's not that. It's what they're doing to try to control the climate. So
Yes.
that's where I stand on it.
Okay. Constitutional rights, my man. Here we go.
Like
What do you got?
two, all constitutional rights, especially with gun rights, 2A, shall not be
Yeah,
infringed. That's where I stand on the topic. I own my guns, and
yeah,
look at what happened in Israel with the Hamas attack. What if
yeah,
something like that happened here? Wouldn't you want, like, they went inside people's homes? Wouldn't you want to have guns to protect yourself?
yes.
Every time they make a law to try to curtail gun use or how many rounds you have in a magazine, all they're doing is affecting the people that legally own guns. That's not the people you need to be worrying about. It's the
That's not
criminals
the
on the
problem.
streets.
Right.
So if they want to crack down on gun violence, crack down on criminals.
Yeah,
Let's not let them out without bail, with their bail reform, and
terrible.
uh,
It's
well,
not good.
crime is on the rise, and it seems like law-abiding citizens are the ones that are paying the price.
We are. This is true. It's happening right here in the neighborhoods, right? In the neighborhoods, it's happening right here, right in front
Yeah,
of our eyes.
my car got broken into too. They took
Yeah,
everything out of my glove and
yeah,
all,
right,
all the compartments.
right in front,
It's
right here.
rampant in New Jersey.
Right here. They got my catalytic converter in 30 seconds, right in front of my house, right here.
It's almost, I can't think of anyone who didn't have something happen to their car.
Exactly. So,
Focus on that.
right. So now you want to be able to protect yourself, and that's that's a good place to stand for you. That's a good one.
Sure.
So defending constitutional rights of citizens. Okay, women's rights. You want to tap into that a little bit?
So women's rights. Now this goes with women, girls. Now this has to do with not allowing biological males in women's bathrooms and in sports. So
Wonderful.
it's not fair. It's not natural. Listen, there's only two genders. Let's not deny. Let's not lie about biology. So
Yeah.
girls are trying to get a scholarship at colleges. All of a sudden, they got a guy that says, "Oh, I'm a woman now," goes, beats them at the sport unfairly, and then to add insult to injury, go in the locker room and expose themselves to them. It's disgusting. These people are sick.
It's
So,
unbelievable. It's
yeah.
unbelievable. It really is crazy. So that's the rights of the women's rights. I get it. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but
So
that goes both ways, though. So, I
sure.
don't want, you don't need to be girled and saying you're a guy going in
No.
on their
It's both
room,
ways.
Yeah. And one woman's like, "Oh, you're one of those," because I'm going all over the place talking to people. You see me at the supermarket or whatever it is, and I'm like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm one of those." I feel uncomfortable with someone of the opposite sex joining me in the bathroom. She's like, "Well, they got stalls." So that's your
No,
defense, so we should make unisex bathrooms that just have stalls that anyone could go in. It's just,
no, not okay. Not
everyone agrees with me.
I know.
Well,
Of course they do.
that's sane anyway.
Even the people that don't want to agree with you, that say they do.
Right.
You know what I mean? All right. So really, that's basically it. And you have protecting children, which I think you got into a little bit. Did you or not? Opposing age inappropriate. Oh, you didn't.
Well, yeah. So as far as the sexual content in the books,
Yeah.
that's protecting children from that. And I don't. Another part of that is something that's actually going to happen. I think it's tonight in Montclair. We have some kind of drag queen story hour or drag queen Halloween party, but it's geared towards 14 to 18 years old children. You know, no one ever, did you ever care about drag queens? Like, didn't you remember,
Oh,
like, there was a Rocky Horror Picture Show movie back in the past? Like, no one ever cared about that. And then people like, "Oh, you're not accepting people. It's not about that. It's about kids." We never thought about exposing children to men dressed like that. That's an adult activity. It belongs in an adult venue, not
well,
around children. I don't know who came up with this idea. I could tell you it was probably a pedophile that came up with the idea, like, wow, let's make it fun and
who
dress up
knows?
in drag and go in front of children and spread our legs and do whatever they are.
Well,
That's what you find out. These people, they end up having some kind of pedophile history.
yeah,
Uh,
that'll
you know, I
pass.
don't want to. I
Well,
don't want to paint a broad brush on every drag the person that
yeah,
dresses in drag. But
yeah.
why expose children to that?
Speak what it is.
And
The
it's not
thing is,
about gay people either. Like I
yeah,
have a lot of gay friends that agree
no,
with me.
of
They're
course,
they're they're, they're
of
Republicans
course.
and they agree with me. And
So
same
what
thing with
happens?
Gays Against Groomers. That's a great organization.
Yeah.
That
So what happens is if the brain gets programmed, if you put something in front of somebody, they're going to think about that thing, whatever it might be. That could be anything. So if you expose people to these things that they're not supposed to be exposed to, it listen, like you said, we got friends that are gay. We don't care. All this stuff has to just come natural, not down your
Yeah,
throat, not pushed on you. Just
right.
let it come natural, and
It
then
just
we're
keeps
okay with
getting
that.
worse and worse, Tommy. Yeah, they're asking 4-year-olds, "What's your gender? What's your
Yes.
pronoun?" in schools. So, I mean, they
Well,
don't even know what that means. So I want to put a stop to that. Oh, and the parental rights. So the parental rights, like, we have board of elections coming up
yeah,
also, and they're all like, oh yeah, I believe in parental rights too. I support parental rights, but it's like I don't know if they do or know what that means. That has to do with the gender stuff too, because now when you have a child, whether they're being coerced by one of these weird teachers that
yeah.
got indoctrinated themselves in these colleges that we have, about gender, now the child is saying that they don't want, they don't know what gender they are, or maybe they're thinking of transitioning. They don't want to involve the parents. Now the schools are not allowed under Murphy's law. That's interesting, that you're not even allowed to notify the parents. So that's what the parental rights is about. Like, they think they can be the parents. The government wants to be the parent of the child. They think they know what's best for the child and not the parents. So now, by the time the parent finds out, that child might be
Done,
suicidal by the time.
done.
What hormones did they get put on or get
Oh,
talked into, or what surgery that are they ready to do?
all
So
of
I
this.
want to actually ban gender affirming care until the age of 25, because all you need is a few kids that went through some of these procedures or hormones and regret it, and immediately regret it. Like, I've seen some testimony, and
Mhm,
it's heartbreaking, and
yeah,
I don't want that to happen to any children. And
yeah.
some of these radicals, these radical people, they have admitted they want to get the kids before puberty.
But
So,
listen? How are the parents not seeing what's going on?
and what's unfortunate is, and I feel bad for parents when they call them like trans parents or something. They're trying to. It's like it's a social contagion going on right now, and so with the parents, they almost get talked into it by these whoever these people
Yeah,
that do the gender affirming care,
right.
and under the fault, they're not telling them all of the consequences. They're not telling them all the risks, and they're almost, I don't want to say threatening them, but they're scaring them, saying, "Would you rather have a live daughter or a dead son?" Where, like, almost like, I have to let my child do this, or they're going to commit suicide or something like that.
Oh,
And then meanwhile, these are lifelong consequences to the child's health. So that's something that I want to put a stop to, and I would definitely legislate that.
so it seems like one of your most passionate in the whole ticket for for what you're running on.
It is, it is, and it's
But all of it, you seem to be very confident in all of your views on all of these things, which is great. Because when someone is confident, that means they don't go back and forth. When you are strong in your ways and your thinking,
yeah,
you just deliver your message, and
yeah.
you're going to
I'm
get the
getting a
people.
lot of good feedback from anyone I'm talking to, and of course, there's a few, like, one guy, he doesn't say anything when I say, oh, let's keep boys out of girls' bathrooms, whatever. They walk away, and then all
Yeah,
of a sudden a car drives by and someone rolls down their windows and screams at me. That's a beta male. You got something to say it to my face. Like, if you had a problem with something I said. So
yeah,
that's the type of people that have a problem with it. So
yeah.
I don't care. Move on to the next person,
Move
because
on.
most
Right.
people
So
agree with it.
unfortunately, as you're saying it, they're not letting parents raise the kids. They want
Yeah,
to
right.
institutionalize the kids, basically.
And in some states, they'll threaten to take that child away from the parents if they have a problem with it. These people are like, oh, that's abuse if your parent doesn't let you transition.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, that's scary. I don't have kids,
I
and it's
know.
funny. I have somebody who wants to fight for kids a lot, doesn't have kids, but you don't need to have kids. I mean,
Yeah,
we were kids once. So
they were
we
kids.
went through the system, and I can't
Yeah,
imagine something like this happening. I
we
worry.
never
I
had
worry
this.
for parents right now.
It's tough. It's tough. I'm ready. I got two in college. It's tough, Joe. It's not easy, man. But when you can't be a parent, it makes it much more difficult. I know raised my kids the way I would want them to be raised, and they had to fight it off. I got to tell you, man, they had to fight it off in college.
I believe it.
It,
I
it
believe it.
was tough for them,
Yeah, and if you're close
especially
with them and
remote.
you can keep guiding them,
Especially
that's great.
remote, it was difficult. So that goes back to what you say about the remote stuff.
Yeah,
They're shaming these kids on the computer. My son was a freshman in college being shamed on the computer because of what he believes in.
right.
And
Yeah,
I don't push it on them.
mhm,
I guide them.
right.
Wherever they fall, they fall.
Yeah, it's
Right?
good to
Gay, straight,
have
Republican,
the
I don't care
parents.
whatever
The
it is.
nuclear family is the best thing to have, because that's what the guidance that you want them to have. You don't want these radicals in these school systems
No.
guiding them.
All right. So we touch on a lot of good things. I don't want to go too long. Like I said, people like short. We'll get this out. We'll put it on some of the platforms that we have.
Just we have to like make sure people know I can win. We can do if we just got to get out the vote. It's vote line A all the way, and don't think that a Republican can't win in this county or this district because it can be done. Because if you see me campaigning, you've never seen that before. I think people are in for a big surprise.
Okay, let's go back what we spoke about backstage. How did Joe get on the ticket? How did this all happen? Real quick, let's tap into that.
All right. So, I knew that the party was looking for a General Assembly candidate, and I had offered. And the night before the paperwork had to be submitted, I was told that they're going to go with someone else. So I was like, oh, all right. I was just doing a favor to the party. But by the time I got the primary sample ballot in the mail, I saw that there was no one on there for state senate, which is the leader of the ticket. There's no governor and there's no president on the ballot, so we have to have state senate lead that ticket. And if by leaving that empty, you're really making things hard for the rest of the ticket. So I had to make a decision. And I said, am I going to try to help the party out right now, or am I going to just sit back and watch this happen again, like it happens over and over again in this district? So I decided to run as a write-in candidate. It's not easy to do. You have to actually tell people, write my full name out on the ballot on election day. Right. That's how, and I was able to win with that. So I won that primary election. And here we are today.
So you won on a write-in primary?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty good, man.
Yeah, no, it's not something I've ever experienced before. I'm like, listen, I'm learning as I go,
Like, I know, man. It's crazy.
Like, how do I do this? What do I
need?
Listen, like, I don't care. I'll ask. I'm fine.
You're a Belleville guy. You're going head in. You're going right in. You're going to do whatever you can do.
No, I didn't get in this thing to lose.
And you're going to learn as you go.
I didn't say let me help the party and just put my name there. I said let me help the party and try to win this damn thing.
That's it.
That's what I plan on doing.
Head on, right? That's all we know, though. That's what we know as Belleville guys. That's what
Belleville guys. I want to win.
I know. I'm on this YouTube thing. People see that personality in me a little bit, so we all carry that with us. All the Belleville guys carry it. So, all right. So what do we got? When is it? November?
November 7th. November 7th. Get out there. Unless you have your mail-in ballots now, go ahead and make sure you fill them out. Don't let them sit on your counter. Mail them out. We have early voting. I don't think we have it in Belleville, but in some locations in the district, if you can early vote, get out there and vote early. Get it out of the way. You never know what happens on election day. You could have bad weather, broken car breaks down. Who knows what it is? Get out there and vote.
We had one question I just want to touch on. You said you're not for mail-in ballots. I understand that. What about the disabled and the sick and the elderly?
Mail-in ballots for people who cannot get to the polls physically. Yes, perfect. I definitely support that because sometimes people are out of state. You have people. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Certain situations.
That's why I want mail-in ballots to be available to not everyone. Because there's so many people on the voter rolls that they don't belong on there. They've died. Like they moved or whatever it is. They end up sending those ballots out to everyone. It goes to every single person, and then that's where the fraud happens. There was a documentary called 2,000 Mules where people had like stacks of ballots, throwing them inside those ballot boxes, and they're untraceable. Who put them in there? We have no idea. And it wouldn't take much to turn over an election. So that was a good question, and I hope I answered that.
You did it great. Okay, what's the campaign look like? We're going door to door. Listen, and you need me. Don't hesitate to call me. You know that I'm around here.
Appreciate that.
I'm in the neighborhood, and a lot of people. So
Yeah. So I've done some door to door in Bloomfield. I was trying to focus on Bloomfield a lot because they had a lot of unaffiliated voters there. So I was thinking there was a lot of secret Republicans, in Bloomfield area. But what I did find, what happens when you go door to door, I have a lot of my door hangers. You're not really reaching a lot of people. Who's not home? Who gets this card, throws it away, whatever it is. The best way I've been reaching people is at the local supermarkets, so that I've been hitting them all in every single town in the district.
Right.
And, I just grab everybody on the way out. And, I have my, let's keep boys out of girls' bathrooms, and it's like, oh, what was this guy saying? Okay. Who are you? What's going on?
Right, you were doing that in front of ShopRite Monday, right?
Yeah, I definitely was. Yeah. So there's that, you have the social media campaign. I have some people out there, some people that, they're believing in me. So I have a few soldiers out there in Bloomfield. I have a few out in Glen Ridge. We're hitting the train station. I've tried Home Depot. I've tried different places. It's like here and go. It's been fun going to East Orange. It's not a town that I visited in my life, really. I don't think at all. And I've had a lot of fun going over there, at least to the ShopRite. because everyone I'm talking to, they're like, oh, here comes Jersey Joe again. It's like I'm a regular over there now, so I'll probably go back there
Really,
tomorrow.
that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, and the feedback has been great.
In
Like
East, in East
it's
Orange,
in
everywhere.
East Orange. It's just all about if I could get these people out to vote. That's the whole. When people focus on that mail-in thing, that they're really they're good at this. I mean, it's there's an art to it. You definitely have to have a team involved. I don't have a huge team for that, and it's a lot of work. But if let's see what happens with it. People do come out and vote in East Orange. They just mostly vote Democrat.
Right,
But
right.
let's see if line A we've never had. Well, line A we haven't had in decades. So I'm
So does
hoping
the
that kind of makes a difference. And
this
I'm
will be
A1.
it'll be big. It'll be big. So
Yeah,
I'm glad you're doing it. I mean, it's incredible. The passion behind it seems to be positive. So a lot of people are rooting for you. So I mean, yeah,
I hope
you
so.
never know. You never know, man. It's gonna happen. I think we got a good shot here. So what
And
else?
I'm
What
known for
else?
being lucky. I'm known for being lucky. I'm going to win on luck.
But you're putting the work in, and you can
I'm
see
putting the work in, absolutely. But
and you're putting the work in, and the passion is behind you, and you got that Belleville vibe in you. You're going to keep on going until the last second.
I will.
I know you will.
Yeah.
So okay, we need you got people in all these communities: Orange, East Orange. You're good. Bloomfield, Belleville, Nutley.
Well, one
You
thing I could use is some challengers. I'm worried about that in East Orange, where I expect some shenanigans to go on, or even other towns if people want to do it. I have to submit that by the 24th if anyone's interested in being a challenger, where you go to the polling location and you just look, make sure no one's voting a couple times, make sure that the poll workers are not telling people, hey, make sure you vote on line B, don't vote for that guy on line A, or make sure there's no other campaign literature at the ballots at the polls as well. If someone's interested in doing that, have them reach out to me.
I'm definitely interested. You call me. I'm for you. I'll help you out. So it's so basically the person just has to go stand there and watch around.
Yeah, yeah. They have to be accredited by the county. I take their information. It's your name and your address is all I got to put there, and I have to write down the location that you'll be at. So I have all the locations. I see the ward in the district I want to put people at, and maybe they could work in shifts or whatever it is.
They have to be local in the districts that you're running.
It says in the district. That's what it says. Like what I'm understanding, you don't need to live in East Orange to do it in East Orange. It just says in the district or the county. Actually, it says so.
Is it county or is it district?
You know what? It says county, but I want to everyone I'm talking to is in my district anyway. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Right, right. That's what we're focusing on, your district. So we're this district here. Which is great. Okay, before we go, do you like what's going on around here? You happy with the way things are growing and things are happening? Things are being built. Things are improving. What's your thoughts?
I know a lot of people complain about overdevelopment. I'm a little torn on that idea because I don't like seeing things getting decrepit in my town as well. So, we have nice areas. Just you need to have some development to keep things new, keep things nice. And it's good for the tax ratables or whatever it is. And a lot of people, oh, well, there's going to be a lot of new students coming into the school. It just turns out to not be the case because what they're doing is usually what they're building is, the luxury apartments, maybe 1-2 bedrooms. And they're just not producing. People are just not having kids like they used to. So they're not really producing any children. So, I mean, I don't see a problem with it. The issue I'll have with that, maybe we'll see in a few years if all the people moving in are all liberals. If they're like young professionals out of New York that always vote Democrat, I might have an issue with that. But other than that, I like to see the things being built.
The growth is great. They're all 1-bedroom units right now. There's not much going on, and it's good. The buildings look good. They took over horrible, messed up areas that we
like dirty parking lots with grass, weeds everywhere, people dumping. I'm for development.
Right on your corner down there, that was a mess. There was a mess down there by where RNS was.
RNS, yeah. So right there, you're right by the Newark border. No one should complain about that.
Right, that building is beautiful.
When you walk, it's like where does Newark end and Belleville start? And it was going a block by block by block. It was always worse. So that will be a nice entrance into the town. That's great.
That building is a great entrance into Belleville. Sure. That is a good entrance. So is the one here on Franklin Avenue.
Yep, right at the border again. Exactly.
Right at the border.
Yes.
So
Nutley's always looked, it was always seemed nicer than Belleville. You have great parks and everything over there. But I've seen there's a lot of infrastructure in Nutley that's looking a little old on some of those streets, like Chestnut Street and whatever. So I don't know, that corner building looks really nice. I don't know who moved into there on Chestnut and Passaic Ave.
Yeah,
But
they did a nice job.
across from that, you have a few buildings that are looking kind of old, and you have really nice businesses and restaurants near there. So I
Not
hope
so
someone
good.
takes that
Not
over,
so good.
and yeah, I hope someone renovates that. Sure.
Ciccolini had to fall down in order for them to fix the.
Yeah.
I've watched it fall. I saw it fall. It's crazy.
No.
Fell right down. It collapsed.
Yeah,
And that's
maybe
a
they're just waiting
100-year
for stuff to
business
fall
that we
down.
know.
I mean, I don't know.
It's unbelievable. But everything looks good. I'm kind of happy with the way things are going in Belleville. You're a Belleville guy, living
Yeah.
there, working there. It's through your veins, it's through your blood. You're passionate about this, so let's make it happen. So touch base with me. Let me know anything you need. I'm here to
Oh,
help
so just
you.
remind everyone they can find me on Facebook, or they can go on my website, votejerseyjoe.com.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
All
Pleasure
right.
having you
Thank
on.
you.
All right.
Thank
Talk to you later.
you. All right. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. That was my boy Jersey Joe. Let's get him in. We got to make this happen. This is real big for the area. I'm gonna log off now. I am coming back on later. I'm gonna do a wind down around 7 p.m. tonight. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Have a blessed evening.